Hello everyone, my name is Anshuman and you are watching Law Putra on YouTube channel. Today let us discuss about decree and ex parte decree. Let us first analyze what is written in the Bail Act so that we can analyze better. So the Bail Act in section 2 subsection 2 of Civil Procedural Code, it is stated that a decree means the formal expression of an adjudication in which so far as regards the court expressing it conclusively determines the rights of the parties with regards to all or any of the matters in controversy in the suit and may be either preliminary or final. It shall be deemed to include rejection of a plaint and determination of any question within section 144, but it shall not include any adjudication from which an appeal lies as an appeal from an order or any order of dismissal of default. So there is also an explanation given under this, which is a decree is preliminary when further proceedings have to be taken before the suit can be completely disposed of. It is final when such adjudication completely disposes of the suit. It may be partly preliminary and partly final. So let us just break this down into parts so as far as we can understand this. Formal expression of an adjudication. What is an adjudication? An adjudication is a formal judgment on a disputed matter. So formally what a court will do, it will issue a judgment on a disputed matter in the court. So that is an adjudication. So formal expression of an adjudication is called a decree. Okay, so first point is that we have to consider. Second thing, as we can see, it should be an adjudication of court. Here the court is important. We cannot go to a police station and get an arbitration or conciliation done by the police officer or something like that and then expect it as a decree. No, that is not a decree. A decree is what? It should be issued by a court. In a case law, that is Madan Nayak versus Hansubala Devi, it was held that if the matter is not judicially determined, then it is not called a decree. And also in Deep Chand versus Land Acquisition Officer, the adjudication should be made by an officer of the court. And if it is not done by an officer of the court, it is not called a decree. Okay? So these are the two things, which is formal expression of an adjudication and adjudication of the court. So let us move further. And the third point is the determination determines all or any of the rights of the parties. It may be substantive or procedural. So it can determine any one of the right or all of the rights. It may be substantive, it may be procedural law which protects their rights. Okay, and it must be conclusive in nature. Once the decree has been passed, it is concluded. There is no other thing for it. I mean, there is no other appeals for it, right? So that is one thing. Next, we move on to any or all or any of the matter in controversy. It should deal with all of the matter in controversy or any one of the matter in controversy, and it should be done in a suit. A suit is a civil case. A suit is nothing but a civil case. So it should be done in a suit. And it may be, a decree may be preliminary or final. As we have, I have read in the explanation while explaining the Bail Act. So the expression clearly says that a preliminary decree is what? Before the court disposes of any of the suits, whatever the decrees are passed, it is called a preliminary decree. When the court finally decides, concludes the case, and then tries to close it off and issues a decree, that is called a final decree. So it may be preliminary or final. So there are 6 points. A decree includes rejection of a plaint. If I file a suit, I am the plaintiff. So I am filing a plaint, right, to the court. So that rejection is also considered as a decree by the court. Okay, and determination of any question under section 144 of CPC. Section 144 of CPC is nothing but applications for restitution. Restitution is nothing but protection. So if we can read that in better in a different class, but let us just remember these 2 points. One is decree includes rejection of a plaint. Decree also includes determination of any question under section 144 of CPC. It's a simple thing. Let me tell you what a decree will never include. A decree will never include any adjudication from which an appeal lies as an appeal from an order. There is an order and for which there is an appeal, for which there is an adjudication. Okay, so the adjudication which has been passed from this can never be considered as a decree, because the appeal will lie as an appeal. That's all. Even if there is an adjudication, it is still the appeal still lies as an appeal, and there is no formal expression of a judgment necessary for this. So hence, a decree will never include this. That is one thing. Second thing is that an order of dismissal of default, which means the court dismisses a suit. That is not a decree. For example, let me consider the plaintiff is the wrongdoer, or if the plaintiff is a fraud. Okay, he is filed, and the court, it is visible to the court that it is the plaintiff who is the wrongdoer. So here the court will just dismiss the case. It is called a dismissal of default. There is a fault here, due to which the court has dismissed. Anything it might be. It can also be clerical errors. Okay. So adjournments. The court may keep giving adjournments, and ultimately it might consider if the defendant does not appear in the court, then the court may think that the defendant is completely not interested to attend. So it gives it just dismisses the suit. So that is explained in Order 9. So this is not a decree. Okay. Even interlocutory application is not a decree, as held in Narayan Chandra versus Pratirod Sahni. So that was about decree. So let us discuss about ex parte decree, which is ex parte decree is really simple. It means a decree passed in the absence of the defendant is an ex parte decree. If the defendant is served multiple summons, even then he does not attend any hearings to the court, then the court will transfer the matter of interest to the plaintiff. So this is an ex parte decree. Without hearing the other side, the court has transferred the interest or the right to the other party. Okay. So here, but the defendant do have remedies for this. For example, the defendant can apply to the court to set aside this particular decree under Order 9, Rule 13. The defendant has to do this within 30 days of time. The defendant can apply to the higher court to set aside this particular decree within 30 days of time. Okay, this is only when the summons is not duly served to the defendant, or there is sufficient cause for the defendant not to attend the hearings. Okay, so this is one of the remedy. The second remedy is that the defendant can appeal in a higher court under section 96 subsection 2. Okay, and the third remedy for the defendant is that he can apply for a revision of the particular decree in a higher court. Revision means the court, once lower court has already issued a decree, and the defendant is not satisfied with it. So he approaches the higher court to revise the particular decree once and see if there is any particular changes to be made. So this is called revision. The next thing is review. the defendant can go to the particular court only, the lower court only, whichever has issued a decree, and approach them and say, please have a review over this under order 47 rule 1. The last thing is that the defendant can file a suit on the ground of fraud if he feels the plaintiff has committed a fraud and got an unreasonable right or unworthy right which he does not deserve, then he can file a suit. That's all about ex parte decree. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.